Hello my friends, I'm Latin American producer, songwriter and mixer Luis Piluso, and this is my recording studio. Today we're going to be checking out the amazing Novation Summit. That is a synthesizer that rules. Check this out. So I only had to turn on this synthesizer and the sounds were already there. So for instance, I put the preset number 1 and it automatically sounds like Thriller. So with this sound I basically added some distortion to it, a little bit of chorus, a little bit less reverb, it has aftertouch. Then I started changing presets and I moved to preset number 3. And it was really similar to the Thriller bass. I only had to change a couple of things. Took out the reverb, for instance, a little bit of distortion, so it had more weight. I took down the filter, I added some resonance, a little bit less of distortion, and I brought down the ring modulator. And I added some noise. Then I needed the Rhodes sound, so I went into Novation Components, that is their app, and I searched for a Rhodes sound like a keyboard. So I added it to the D bank, that is the bank that you have to create your own presets. So I really liked this sound, so I added it to my patch number 0. And it sounds like this. So I added a pedal, so it would work as a sustain pedal. And I added some distortion, a little bit of chorus, some reverb, some delay, and before we dive into all the different controls, I want to show you something really special I use for this sound. That is the animate that you can use to assign different modulations of the synthesizer. So for instance, I chose for animate 1, I chose the tuning of the pitch. And you can hear how it moves. And for animate 2, I used the rate of the LFO. Just in case I want to use it, then I can press hold, for instance, and hold any of these parameters like the animate, like in a permanent way, and then I can choose which one I want. And I can add this one, it's quicker. Also, if I move the modulation wheel, it will open or close the filter. Nice detail. So let's check out this synthesizer, how it works. We're going to do a tour through all of the controls and functions. This is basically an all-in-one synthesizer. It's two Novation peaks together in only one chassis. It has 16 voices with aftertouch. It's digital except for the mixer, the filter, and the distortion. This synth has 3 identical Oxford oscillators designed by Chris Huggett, who is a legendary synth designer that has worked on the Wasp and the Oscar. What differentiates this synthesizer from other digital synths? Well, basically other synths that work through DSP, what it does is that it works actually through sample rate. So we take, for instance, 48K, what we would have is 48,000 samples per second. But this one uses another technology called FPGA that uses 24 million samples per second, which is a lot, which the resolution is way higher and better quality. Then we have FM to modulate these oscillators. Then we have the mixer section and the filter, that is this section here, that is completely analog, from which we have resonance, overdrive, the cutoff frequency, the mixer for the 3 oscillators in an individual form. We have noise, we have ring modulation between the 2 first oscillators. So that's great because then we have 2 envelopes that they're also analog, and then you can use like a loop function, which is really cool. Like we can hear that it makes that sound like a drrrr. That is a great sound, and you can use it as you want. And then we have 4 LFO, the first 2 are identicals, and then we have we can choose the amount of fade in and the rate. And then we have 2 different LFOs, 3 and 4, that are global. Then we have the sections for the effects. Then we have this analog distortion, we have chorus, we have delay, we have reverb, which is really nice. Listen how big it sounds. I mean, really good. And then we can change and modify the effects up there. And if we come to the left, we have the different modes. That is really interesting and is a love from the synthesizer, and we're going to explain it quickly. So basically we have 16 voices. We can have it in a single mode that we can use all 16 voices at the same time. So if you can see that all the voices start to stack up, and I can use chords up to 16 voices or notes. But I don't have enough hands. So basically we can do it if we want to. Then we have the multi-mode that it will layer 2 different sounds because it separates 8 and 8. So we have 8 voices for the first layer and another 8 for the next layer. So we can hear both at the same time. We have the layer mode where they play at the same time. And what's happening here is that we cannot do a chord because it's sounding in mono mode. So we can change that to poly, and now we can do chords, which is great. And if I keep it in mono mode, and I can play with unison, so I can occupy all the voices. I mean 8 and 8 voices at the same time. So we just have to change that to 8. And we're doing that with first voice, and then if we go to second voice, we can actually see how both voices are going up to 8. And this way we can get a sound much bigger and fatter. And if we go back to poly sound, we can reduce the amount of voices so they don't. So that is the layer mode. But if we go to dual mode, we can have 2 different sounds for our song, and we can have A and then we can have B. So we can actually change them from one section to another inside of a song. And then we have the split mode that it will divide the keyboard in 2. So it's quite a classic sound. And then we have the animate part that I absolutely love, that I used to before. But if we go into mod, and let's go to the first slot, and we can assign so I can assign, for instance, the rate of the LFO, and we can lower it so it's going to be a more subtle sound instead of so fast. And it's very practical. And then we have modulation wheel, the pitch wheel, classics, the arpeggiator. We're going to turn it on. We can leave it with an open gate or very percussive. Then something I really like about this synth, it has aftertouch as well. That it means that when you press harder on a key, you can add different modulations to it. And in this case, it's opening the filter. So that's basically what the aftertouch can do. And then we have like different things, and it's a very powerful synth. So it has like wave tables, it has a nice weight, the keys feel really good. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave me below different questions and things you would like to know about this synth, and I would gladly try to do my best to answer you. I'll leave you here some other synth reviews I've done on this channel, and I hope you really enjoy it. Until next time, my name is Louis Peluso. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll be talking to you below. Bye bye.